Hey everyone, welcome to week 7 of CRJ 490, the capstone seminar in criminal justice. This week we're talking about change. And the bigger part of just change is how you can foster a coalition and manage change effectively to accomplish what it is you or your agency are trying to do. One of the biggest things that you can do to make sure that you're managing change correctly is to balance the need for change with the value of stability. So a lot of times new leaders take over an agency or a division within an agency, and the first thing they do is make a list of everything they want to change. Now, typically this happens because that person has experience in their career or in their personal life where they've had negative experiences that they don't want to repeat. Or it's a control thing a lot of times. So we have to put our mark on whatever it is that we're trying to do so that people are unquestionably realizing it's your division or your agency. Now, change for the sake of change is rarely a good thing. There are some certain instances where changing things wholesale can be good. Reinventing an agency after a public disaster, such as like a chief law enforcement officer being arrested and convicted of some kind of public crime. A new chief comes in. It may be a good thing to restore the public image of the department, to make some big changes to reinvent the image of that agency. Other than that, though, if we're talking about normal day to day functions or uniforms or equipment or whatever the case may be, change just to say you changed is never a good thing. So there is value in not changing. And the biggest value we get is in personnel. So people like stability. There are very few people who operate well in a constantly changing environment without showing any kinds of signs of stress. Now, obviously change is going to be needed in certain circumstances. So that's what we're talking about is how we manage that change to make sure we don't stress our people or reduce our agency efficiency any more than we have to. So the biggest thing I can say is that we need to balance the two, the need for the change and the value of being the same or stability. First question you need to ask is why the change is needed. So is this something that is just a want, like we want new cars, so we're going to go to a different kind of car? Um, you need to be careful and make sure that there's deeper reasoning behind it rather than a want, because there may have been a reason for the other type of vehicle that you're not considering. And when you get the new vehicle, you may realize that this is why we had those other ones, and now we've sort of shot ourselves in the foot. You need to think about what benefits you're trying to achieve by changing. So you need to think about if you're changing cars, what am I actually getting out of changing cars? Is it just I like the car that we're changing to, or is it because it has higher road clearance and we're a rural agency, or parts and maintenance are cheaper because it's a more common police vehicle? So you have to think about what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Another big consideration is who's going to be hurt by this change. And I don't mean physically hurt necessarily, but think about who's going to not like the change. A lot of times you see generational uh, concerns here. And in fact, in your recommended readings inside the syllabus, I have an article listed there that I authored for the FBI Law Enforcement Bulletin. It goes into this in depth about generational contributions to stability and change, and gaining that consensus and managing change. So I would recommend that you read that for some more detail. But essentially, you'll notice that older officers in their career, as you get further in your career, you don't want change more than is necessary. So a 30-year officer isn't going to want to bounce around assignments every year. He's not going to want to change shifts every month. He's going to want to just do his job and stay on track. Whereas a rookie officer may be more inclined to want to move around and change and have specialized assignments and new training. It has a lot to do with your progression through your career as well as your age. Now, there are also some other factors that go into that. And like I said, I go into a lot of those inside that article. So I really recommend that you read it. You need to do a cost benefit analysis. So there are costs in change. And it's not just human capital costs like what we've talked about so far, but actual monetary costs. So if you want to change cars, it's going to cost money to buy new cars. Is the benefit that we talked about a minute ago going to outweigh the actual monetary costs? Are we going to get more benefit than we're going to lose? And then is there more value in not changing? So, like I said, that cost benefit analysis, is there more value in changing or is there more value in staying the same? So, all of these things kind of will help you form that decision and help you manage that change. When you go to address the change with your troops, you can cover these aspects. And if nothing else, it will show them that the change was not just a spur of the moment thing, that it was a well reasoned decision, and that will help you gain consensus and buy in from them. So I hope this helps. Like I said, read that article that I've got in the recommended reading. It will go into this in a lot more depth. And let me know if you have any questions. But good luck this week.